Welcome everyone to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today picked up a fax machine. So we'll see what's inside. But if we think about, it crossed my mind when I picked it up about phone calls. And if we go through like stages, you'd have to get through to the operator. Operator, put me through to whatever number. And often, if you were in a village, the operator would listen in on the phone call. This is, like decades ago. And then if you wanted to phone abroad, you'd have to book an appointment through the operator. I remember that when I was younger. And we had the talking clock and everything. And then all of a sudden, we went just from having phone calls, and sometimes it was a bit dodgy, and you'd have crossed phone calls, there's all sorts of problems. And then it was ironed out when BT and in the 80s and everything. And then all of a sudden, you had a fax machine. And it's like, oh my God. It was like you put the sheet in, and then it was sent. It could be anywhere, abroad, I don't know, but it was just done like that. So then we started having mobile phones, and if you remember the first mobile phones, they were like bricks. Oh my God. And gradually they got smaller and everything. And as we go through the decades from the early times of phoning and phones and everything, and how much it cost as well. It was if you didn't have a phone in your house, you'd go knock a neighbour's door and say, oh, can I make a phone call? If it was urgent, you needed an ambulance or something like that. And people of this generation just don't understand or just can't comprehend what those days were like. And as I said, fax machine, and then all of a sudden we had the internet, and I was like, oh, yeah. Well, now you can do anything. You got Skype, you got WhatsApp, you got everything on your phone, you got everything on a computer, you got all these printers that are all in one. You can fax with your printer. You can do everything. So fax machines with the phone are obsolete. So it's just interesting. When I picked it up, it was just like going through my mind all going back through the decades, how things have progressed and where we are now with the internet and everything. So I'll bring you down to the bench and we'll show you what fax machine it is. It must have been, it's obviously a good fax machine in its day. Plastic. For anybody who doesn't know what a fax machine is, who's watching this, you put your paper in that you wanted to send, dial your number, and it depended, probably, you pick that up, you dial your number, and then you hear that on the other end, and then you press send or start, put your phone down, piece of paper would come through, go through there, and then it'd be sent at the other end. On this end, you'd have a roll of paper, something like this inside. And so when somebody sent you a fax, it would print out on this piece of paper, the fax, and it'd come through here, obviously here by the looks of things, and you just rip it off. It might be an order, could be anything, whatever. And that's how fax machine worked. For all you younger ones. So plastic, we're loving this plastic. Right, okay, let's see how we get in here. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, right, okay. Oh, this had, look at this. This was top of the range. It was even An answer machine. Look at that tape, how small it is. BT. Good grief. Brings back memories, doesn't it? Right, okay, we roll. Ah, there's the paper. Right, so that's the paper there. I assume this is going to be a little bit of, okay, touch of foam, but a touch of, bit like a printer nowadays, where there's not going to be much in it. It's just, how do we get in it? Which is a bit of a dilemma at the moment. Right, so that comes up, that comes up. So how do we get in there? I've taken some screws out. So if that's up and that's up, pull it off. You can see a motherboard. I see. Right, the phone is attached to the motherboard, but I can't get that out. It doesn't come out, so I'll have to cut it. Take the cord off. Nice little phone for you. We'll take that apart. We'll see what's in it. Not usually much. Probably a little magnet. That's it. Right. Okay. Let's see if this bottom comes off. What's holding it? More plastic. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Really gets my goat. Well, that's the bottom. Quite a lot going on there. I think that the best plan of attack, it looks as though this is the way in that I'm going to get. I can see quite a lot of screws, so I think the best plan of attack is to take the screws out, start taking bits apart, and then I'll get back to you. Right, I haven't taken all the screws apart, but this is starting to... I'm enjoying this. This is quite an interesting little project. Just take that paper out. There's lots and lots of screws, but look how much is going on in there. Now, this is the motherboard. That's the handset, just to give you some context. This is the motherboard from there. Now if I put it standard there, but it had a speaker in there, which meant that it must have been hands-free or something. I don't know. And there's wires going to something plastic. I'll have to take that apart. But it's a green board, and I'd say medium grade if I pushed it out, if I pushed the boot out. Bit of a transformer there. Lots of chips. There's a lot going on there. I'm sure that might be brass. I'm already surprised at how much is going on. Yes, there's a lot of screws. There's going to be a lot to take apart. But already you can see there's brass there. Motherboard. That motherboard must have been for the fax machine, which came to this main motherboard. because there's a lot going on there as well. And I can see another motherboard in there. So yeah, lots going on. So right, okay, I'll keep going. Some screws apart. That was the original motherboard, connected to, with the magnet connected to the headset. There's just so much going on. I don't know how I'm going to edit this and put it all together. That was the motherboard coming from, I assume, the fax up there, which connected down to the motherboard down here, and that was up there, which I assume has got, you can see, hopefully you can see all the copper there, and it's got a little motor, brass, yeah, there's just lots going on with this machine. It's yeah, they've put a lot into it. Now whether that's a little, yeah, that's another little motor as well. That dropped off from somewhere, so I didn't see where that dropped off from. But this board that came from there, you can see all the wires that were connected, and this wire was connected from the motherboard up there to this main machine. And okay, it's got chips on and everything. How good they are, I don't know, because I don't know much about them. The main one there that I've seen on various sites, I can't see any gold coming out of it, but, and I don't know what that is, not sure. But again, quite a busy board, and the chips are a lot larger than you get nowadays. So that's another board, motor. There's just so much going on. It's like layer after layer. So every layer that I get through, I think, oh right, okay, put the camera back on. So this is the next layer that I'll be working on, and then we can finally get to see what is behind it, and where all these wires lead, because I can see a motherboard in there as well. There's a lot of screws, but it's absolutely fascinating and I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. So yeah, once I got this stripped down to the next layer, I'll get back to you. Okay, I took the next layer off, took a few screws off. That was just like aluminium on there, and very heavy piece of plastic, bits of brass in there, so yeah, I'll get those out. But it was all plastic, but inside we had a couple of pieces of glass. They're like mirrors, and also in there was a sort of lens. Now that might be that because you had two pieces of these, the lens might have, perhaps it's to do with the fax machine and the piece of paper coming through. These mirrors, don't know, put it on a piece of paper, something like that. But it looked big and it took a lot of screws to take out, but really it was just glass and a lens. Very heavy, and just a couple of bits of brass in there. So we're down to the next layer now, and it just keeps on going and going. But it's absolutely fascinating how they've put this together. Right, okay, I'll crack on taking the next layer off. I'll get back to you soon. Okay, totally stripped the last layer, Yeah, we've got a couple of motors. It was more sort of wiring than anything, you can see. But now that we've taken that layer off, it's now leading to the other side. So that is all clean now. Yeah, we'll see what's there, but I've somehow got to get in. There's a lot of screws. Right, okay. So if we put it into context now, how far I got. Oh goodness. Right, okay. That is the phone. The part with the phone there. It was like that. So we've taken all guts out so far. As you type in for your numbers, you put your, that's where the fax arrived, and then we've got all this going on. So I'm going to take that and that off, and then I'll take this apart, but there's nothing in it, I know. But this is, yeah, really, really good to take apart. Right, I'll crack on, take this and this off, and then we'll see, yeah, where we are. It's just going on and on. I'm loving it. It's brilliant. Right, I'll see you soon.